drowning in debt and trying to retire in 24 months? $67,000, that's what the average American in their 50s carries in consumer debt right now. Not mortgage, credit cards, car loans, medical bills, store cards. That debt costs $1,172 a month in pure interest. Money that buys nothing, builds nothing, compounds nothing, just bleeds every single month while your retirement account sits empty on the other side of the wall. And here's the number that should stop you cold. Every $10,000 in high-interest debt doesn't just cost you interest. It destroys $47,000 in retirement wealth you never get to build. On $67,000 in debt, that's $314,900 in retirement wealth. Evaporated. Not from a crash. Not from bad luck. From a balance you've been carrying so long it started to feel normal. It is not normal. And it ends in 24 months. Is she starting right now? I'm the Wolf. Subscribe if this is your first time here, because this protocol is one piece of a larger system. Every video is a different move. You need all of them now. Let's talk about what $1,400 a month to live in the past actually means. The Federal Reserve's 2024 data puts the average non-mortgage debt for Americans between 50 and 59 at $67,000. Credit cards, car loans, personal loans, medical debt, store cards, old balances that started small and compounded quietly for years. At an average interest rate of 21% across revolving debt, the current national average, according to the Federal Reserve, died that $67,000 costs $14,070 a year in interest alone. $1,172 a month. Every month. For debt that is generating zero return, zero assets, zero compounding. Just the privilege of having borrowed money at some point in the past. That's what living in the past costs. And here's the number that should make you physically uncomfortable. Every $10,000 you carry in debt at 22%. APR doesn't just cost you interest, it costs you $47,000 in retirement wealth you never built. Here's the math. $10,000 at 22% EU APR costs roughly $2,200 a year in interest. That $2,200 invested instead at 7% annual return over 15 years becomes $47,000. Not spent on the debt, not lost to fees. $47,000 sitting in your retirement account, compounding, working. Every $10,000 in high-interest debt is a $47,000 hole in your retirement. Most people carrying $40,000 in consumer debt have punched a $188,000 hole in their future without knowing it. This is what the Wolf calls debt gravity. It doesn't just pull your income down. It pulls your entire retirement trajectory down with it. Now, before the protocol, say, 3 profiles, not to judge, to identify, because the 24-month plan looks slightly different depending on where you're standing right now. Profile 1, the credit card dominant. Your primary debt is revolving. Credit cards, store cards, personal loans. Total balance somewhere between $15,000 and $40,000. Interest rates between 19% and 29%. You make the payments. The balance barely moves. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Profile 2, the mixed load. You have a mortgage, a car payment, and at least one credit card carrying a balance. The mortgage rate is manageable, under 6%. The car and the card are the problem. The combination feels impossible to untangle because every time you make progress on one, something hits the other. At Profile 3, the false safe. No consumer debt, maybe a mortgage, but also no meaningful retirement savings, no emergency fund, no investable assets outside the home. This profile feels the most stable and is statistically the most dangerous because there's no urgency. And no urgency means no action, and no action means the window closes quietly. Which profile are you? Most people already know before I finish the sentence. The ones who don't, they're usually Profile 3. And Profile 3 is the one the data says is least likely to change trajectory without a deliberate intervention. Here is the intervention, the 24-month protocol, 3 phases. Each one builds the next. Skip the sequence and you get the result most people get. Partial progress, full frustration, back to 0 inside 18 months. Phase 1, months, 1 through 6, the tourniquet. The first job is not to invest, not to save, not to build. The first job is to stop the bleeding. Pull every debt you carry onto one page. Balance, interest rate, minimum payment. Sort them by interest rate, highest to lowest. This is the Avalanche method, validated by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau as the mathematically optimal debt elimination sequence. Every dollar above the minimum payment goes to the highest rate debt first. Every single dollar. Not split, not diversified, concentrated, like a tourniquet on the worst wound first. While this is happening, one more move. Call every credit card issuer, everyone, ask for an interest rate reduction. This call takes 4 minutes. The average success rate, according to a 2023 LendingTree survey, is 76%, meaning 3 out of 4 people who ask get a reduction. The average reduction is 6 percentage points. On a $15,000 balance, that's $900 a year back in your pocket from a single phone call most people never make. During Phase 1, the 401k contribution stays at the minimum required to capture the full employer match. Nothing more. The match is a 50% to 100% instant return on that dollar. No debt carries an interest rate that beats a 100% return. The match stays. Everything else attacks the debt. By month 6, if the protocols followed, the highest rate debts begin to fall. The minimum payment stack starts to shrink. Cash flow starts to breathe. Phase 2, months 7 through 18. The turn. This is where the math changes direction. Every debt above 8% interest rate is gone or nearly gone by month 7. The cash flow that was servicing those debts now redirected, not to lifestyle, not to reward, to the next phase of the build. First, max. The 401k contribution to the IRS limit. In 2025, that's $23,500 for workers under 50. For workers 50 and older, the catch-up contribution brings the limit to $31,000. This catch-up provision exists specifically for people who are behind. Use it. It is one of the few places in the tax code where the government is explicitly trying to help you. Second, build the 6-month emergency buffer. 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a high-yield savings account, currently yielding above 4.5%. This buffer is not optional. Without it, the first unexpected expense, medical, mechanical, structural, pulls you back into the credit card, and you restart from zero. The buffer is what makes the rest of the protocol permanent instead of temporary. During Phase 2, the $1,400 that was going to debt service starts going to these 2 destinations instead. Same dollar amount, completely different trajectory. The money didn't change, the direction did. Phase 3, months 19 through 24, the arsenal, debt, eliminated above 8%, emergency buffer, funded, 401k, maximized. Now the wolf builds the income layer. The goal of Phase 3 is to create the first self-sustaining cash flow stream outside of earned income. Not large, not complex, but real. Something that pays you while you sleep, even if it's $200 a month at the start. The entry point for most people in their 50s with a rebuilt cash flow, a Roth IRA funded to the annual limit of $8,000 for workers 50 and older in 2025. I invested in a total market dividend ETF VYMSCHD or equivalent, currently yielding between 3.8% and 4.2%. This account grows tax-free. Withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. The dividends compound inside it without a tax drag at $8,000 contributed in year 2, earning 4% yield plus 7% average capital appreciation. By the end of month 24, this account is generating approximately $320 a year in dividend income, automatically. Without you making a single additional decision, that's $26 a month. It sounds small. It is small. It is also the first dollar you have ever been paid by your money instead of your employer. And the first dollar is the only one that matters because the first dollar proves the system works. And once the system works, you fund it until it funds you. 24 months. Month 1, you're paying $1,400 to live in the past. Month 24. The debt is gone. The buffer exists. The 401k is maxed. The first income layer is producing. The past stopped billing you. The future started paying you. This is not a turnaround story. It's a sequencing story. The people who fail at debt elimination and retirement building simultaneously aren't failing because they lack discipline. They're failing because they're trying to run two races at once on the same track in opposite directions. The wolf doesn't run two races. The wolf runs one race at a time, in the right order, and finishes both. 24 months from today, would you tell what's right? Where do you want to be standing? The ones who know the answer, they know what to type. And if you want the exact Avalanche method spreadsheet breakdown, every debt, every payment, every month mapped out, that's the next video. Subscribe, it's already built and it's waiting. Debt is not a moral failure, it's a math problem. And you just got the solution.